Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Game Film School, the show that explores the connection between video games and the films that influence them. In this episode, PerryDactyl and I will discuss Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Bad punchlines, big muscles, and even bigger guns, these are just some of the signature elements found in action flicks from the totally nebular neon decade of the 1980s. The 80s made its mark on pulp culture with an abundance of fun action movies and memorable action stars, creating unique and out there stories that would probably be too risky to be made today. Cold War paranoia coupled with the advancement of technology shaped the imaginative cyber-neon futuristic vision that 80s sci-fi flicks are known for.
For years, video games borrowed aspects from 80s cinema, but the one that embraces its source material to the fullest, almost to parody, is the Far Cry 3 expansion, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. The creators of Blood Dragon wanted to develop a game that could fit into the same 80s campy action style as their favorite films of that era. They set out to create a story that was cheesy and could also comfortably sit in the action section of a Blockbuster video store.
Creative director Dean Evans stated in an article with Destructoid, "We decided to approach it in the mindset of it's an action movie genre that's kind of jumped the shark. It's almost similar to Rambo 3 and RoboCop 3, of when things just suddenly went completely haywire. We've worked really hard to do a really bad script, and it's been a lot of fun to embrace that. Tick off a lot of tropes and try to create something that is really quite atrocious." The team even went a step further with a B-movie aesthetic by imposing a real-world budget of only $150 to reskin the enemies from Far Cry 3. Instead of equipping the enemies with advanced suits and weapons, they are given toasters for helmets and vacuum packs as flamethrowers. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is set in the far distant future of the year 2007, where the world is dealing with the nuclear aftermath of Vietnam War II. It's a post-apocalyptic vision of the future that is not too dissimilar from the bleak robot-controlled setting seen at the beginning of James Cameron's The Terminator. You play as an American cybernetic super soldier named Sergeant Rex Power Colt, who has been sent to an unnamed island to investigate Colonel Sloan, an elite agent who has gone rogue.
Pinpointing exactly what the origins for all the different inspirations for Blood Dragon's plot is rather difficult because so many movies of that era use similar themes and ideas. Rex searching for a rogue colonel mirrors the story in the 1979 war epic Apocalypse Now. The film, set during the Vietnam War, follows an American soldier ordered to find and kill Colonel Kurtz, who has gone completely insane in the jungles of Cambodia. The jungle setting of Blood Dragon, along with the manic diatribes monologued by the game's villain Sloan, makes it an easy comparison despite Blood Dragon taking a drastically less serious approach to the material, replacing philosophy with parody. It's also worth mentioning that the appearance of Sloan is based off Bennett, the villain from Commando.
Blood Dragon follows the same setup of big action movie blockbusters such as Commando, Rambo, and Die Hard, where one man takes on waves and waves of enemies with seemingly unlimited guns and ammo. Mowing down waves of enemies might be synonymous with video game shooters, but the concept was first seen in power fantasy pictures like Commando and Rambo. Predator begins with a whole platoon of soldiers that slowly get picked off throughout the movie, till the last man standing is our action hero Arnold Schwarzenegger, who must take on the Predator by himself. Rex did not go on his mission alone. His friend Spider, who, let's face it, is pretty much Carl Weathers, is accompanying him on his mission until he gets murdered by Sloan, in turn leading Rex to revenge and becoming his own one-man army. Rex Power Colt, voiced by Terminator and Alien star Michael Biehn, was a human modified to become a cybernetic super soldier. The 80s had an abundance of films with stories exploring the topic of cyborgs and super soldiers, and Blood Dragon pays homage to many of them. A tribute to the intro for the 1970s TV show $6 Million Man can be seen in the opening animation montage as we see Rex being wired together and constructed into a cyborg soldier. His cybernetic arm and glowing red eyes are an allusion to the Terminator's glowing red eye and robotic arm from the series. Rex's red retina scan is also a reference to the aforementioned picture. One of Rex's central conflicts is that he must manage the balance between both his human side and his machine side. Machines searching for humanity was a theme commonly explored in many movies of the 80s, with one of the most well-known examples being RoboCop. RoboCop is the tale of a fallen police officer brought back to life and modified to become a super cyborg cop. Concurrent to Rex, RoboCop struggles with his diminishing humanity, but still holds on to memories of his family before he was genetically modified. Rex is definitely more machine than man, but he still questions if he still has a soul. Just as in RoboCop, Rex is unable to kill Sloan because he has been programmed to prevent him from killing his creator. However, Dr. Darling's and Spider's memories remind Rex of his humanity despite his cybernetic nature, and is able to finish the job defeating Sloan.
Some scenes from Blood Dragon are direct references to iconic scenes from 80s cinema. The opening of the scene when Rex and Spider are in the helicopter is an homage to Predator, even including Long Tall Sally playing in the background as you send an enemy base to Kingdom Come. As well as another scene where Rex and Spider reenact the manliest handshake ever shot on film.
You son of a bitch.
Much later in the game, you're ordered to torch a nest of blood dragon eggs as you are being hunted by an angry mother dragon. You must hold off the dragon until the elevator slowly makes its way down to save you. This scene mirrors the climax of James Cameron's action masterpiece, Aliens, when Ripley takes down the mother xenomorph's nest. Training montages are prominent in 80s action flicks, and Blood Dragon does not disappoint. Movies akin to Rocky, Commando, and The Karate Kid all had a training montage set to 80s music. The opening animation of Rex preparing for battle is similar to Arnold gearing up for combat in Commando. The training montage towards the end of the campaign before the final fight resembles the intense high-tech training of Ivan Drago in the Cold War propaganda film Rocky IV. While on the topic of Rocky IV, the game's femme fatale, Elizabeth Darling, takes on the looks of Ivan Drago's wife, Ludmilla. There's also a sex scene between Rex and Elizabeth that is shot in a very similar way to the sex scene between Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese in Terminator.
The absurd plot and over-the-top hero gives Blood Dragon a campy B-movie vibe that feels familiar to films like Commando. Commando is well known for its over-the-top violence, code names, and catchphrases, and was also recognized for its satirical take on the action genre.
Fuck you, asshole.
Fuck you, asshole.
The satirical side of Commando is evident in Blood Dragon's protagonist, Rex Power Colt, whose name is just as ridiculous as Schwarzenegger's John Matrix. Arnold is given a plethora of extremely dumb one-liners to say after defeating baddies and saving the day.
¿Cómo está?
Commando knew this was stupid, so they went all in on making it even more fun and dumb. In Blood Dragon, Rex will recite corny lines and phrases that are inspired by Commando and many other action flicks.
He was dead tired.
Do me a favor. Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired.
If this don't work, you tell them. You tell them I died for my country.
Tell her that yourself.
I want you to find my wife. I want you to tell her something.
You can tell her that yourself.
Rex's over-the-top and macho persona is a common trope found in just about any action film you can think of. He has a kindred spirit of sorts to Duke Nukem, who uses similar ridiculous catchphrases.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Using 8-bit animated slides rather than using in-game 3D model cutscenes is a bold style choice. It gave the scenes the unique aesthetic of the Saturday morning cartoons from the 80s and 90s. Additionally, trailers to promote Blood Dragon were animated to resemble the popular Hasbro cartoons G.I. Joe and Transformers. The visuals of Blood Dragon have a very recognizable 80s style. The cyber neon grid aesthetic seen throughout the island was made popular by the Disney film Tron. The film, which takes place inside a video game, is famous for its neon grid imagery that can be seen throughout the entire playthrough of Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon also has similar political motifs found in films from the decade. Movies like Rocky IV and Rambo III were laced with Cold War fear and American exceptionalism. Both these films illustrate this by showing one American taking down an entire Russian force by himself. Blood Dragon is set in a future where the Cold War escalated to its absolute extreme, and Rex, acting as a one-man army, must thwart the plans of Sloan, who has betrayed his country and now working with the Russians. Rex embodies the unstoppable force that can take down Russia and communism just as Rocky did in Rocky IV. The 80s also marked the highest spike in drug crimes in America. Many arcade games at the time actually had anti-drug warning labels on them. Blood Dragon takes this concept and runs with it, with its own anti-drug campaign in the story.
Winners don't use drugs.
The 80s synth-sounding soundtrack surprisingly wasn't inspired by an 80s film at all. In an article with Polygon, Dean Evans stated that the soundtrack was inspired by 2011's insanely ultra-violent movie, Hobo with a Shotgun. There was one scene in particular in a hospital that gave Evans inspiration. The demonic bounty hunters, red fluorescent lighting, and the analog synth music gave Evans the feeling that this should be in a video game. This feels like what a shooter should feel like, and the song was by Power Glove. I immediately wanted this for a game. Australian synthwave duo Power Glove composed the game's soundtrack. Their synth techno tone would fit in well with 80s John Carpenter escape vibes. Power Glove gave some love to popular 80s movies, with much of the score orchestrated to resemble the score for Terminator and The Thing. Before the final battle, when you get ready to fight the Battle Armored Dragon Assault Strike System, or BADASS, War from Rocky IV can be heard playing during the Beast's big reveal. Friends by Dragon Sound, which was in the film Miami Connection, plays at the beginning of the credits. Looking at the Miami Connection cover, it bears a striking resemblance to the poster of Blood Dragon.
Even the weapons in Blood Dragon were inspired from 80s cinema. We will start with the AJ-9 pistol. This automatic pistol is modeled after the pistol used in RoboCop. The initials in the pistol, AJM, stand for Alex J. Murphy, the Detroit officer who was resurrected as RoboCop. The Cobra Con is also based off the powerful M82 sniper rifle from RoboCop. Cobra Con is a mashup of Cobra from G.I. Joe and Decepticons from Transformers. Another memorable Transformers reference is used when Rex obtains the legendary weapon Killstar. The song I Got the Touch by Stan Bush plays.
I got the touch. I got the power, yeah! You got the touch! You got the power! Arise, Rodimus Prime.
Additionally, the Killstar is inspired by a weapon from the cult classic Krull. You also have the Phaser Tron, an automatic assault rifle, which is a reference to Terminator 2 Judgement Day, in which future Terminators use a weapon called the Westinghouse M27 Phased Plasma Pulse Rifle. Continuing with Terminator, the shotgun called the Galleria 1991 is inspired by the shotgun used by the T-800 as it converges on a Los Angeles shopping mall. The name derives from the name of the mall and the year of the film's release. Furthermore, Rex reloads the Galleria by flip-cocking it in the same manner as the Terminator. And finally, the Terror 4000, a minigun which was a weapon model frequently seen in many action films. Especially remarkable in Terminator 2, where Arnold Schwarzenegger uses it in a weapon freight.
On a smaller scale, Blood Dragon has a ton of smaller Easter eggs, making references to various movies, such as one side mission that has you tracking down 4 mutant turtles who dwell in the sewer wearing colored masks and eating pizza, and another where an alarm has the same warning sound as the ED-209 from RoboCop when Spider hacks the computer.
You have 20 seconds to comply. You have 20 seconds to comply.
Also, various achievements you get in the game are references to famous movie lines.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Hail to the king, baby.
The headshot's the only true stopper.
Even the game's ending has a blatantly obvious Star Wars reference.
I am your father! No!
Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon takes its 80s film influences to the extreme. They created a plot, characters, and setting that perfectly embodies the 80s sci-fi B-movie aesthetic. Taking themes, tropes, and styles from movies within and even outside of the decade, Ubisoft made a product that, equivalent to films of the era, took risks, resulting in something special. Hey, thanks again for watching this video. It's been a while since I posted a video, so thank you for sticking with me through these last few months. I promise more stuff is on the way. I'm actually working on another video game film school for Resident Evil 7 as we speak. Special thanks to PerryDactyl, helped me out immensely on writing the script. He did the voiceovers for some of the audio, really big help. He's really passionate about this project. He's a big 80s action movie fan, So it was really great to have him work on this project. So give him a click on the little button there and watch his stuff. He does some really cool stuff. And go subscribe and do all that fun stuff. You can find me at Trey Vids on Twitter, on Twitch, pretty much all over the internet. Trey Vids. Again, leave a comment, tell me what you think, subscribe, give me a like, do all that generic mumbo crap that you do on YouTube these days. Thanks again for watching. More to come. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll see you later.
Stay frosty.